Hello everyone, welcome to our Meet the Makers series. Today we're excited to virtually transport you to Kunia on the island of Oahu for our Pau Hana with Kō Hana Rum. Get your tasting set ready. Today we'll take off for an epic experience with the guys behind Kō Hana. We'll tour their farm and shake up some amazing cocktails. In just a bit, we'll kick off our countdown to the event. We'll play some trivia and get a sneak peek at today's Pau Hana. Aloha!
Ellie, can you give Kyle the script so we can do a test?
Don't say this last word here. It's kind of funky.
Get your tasting set ready. Today we'll take off for an epic experience with all the folks behind Kō Hana Rum. We'll tour their farm and shake up some amazing cocktails.
Aloha everyone. Mahalo for joining us today. Welcome to our 6th Meet the Maker virtual event in partnership with Hawaiian Airlines, Bank of Hawaii World Elite MasterCard. We hope you enjoyed playing some trivia during our pre-show, and we're about to learn so much more during today's experience with Kō Hana. I'm your host, Melly James, co-founder of Mana Up, a local accelerator program to help Hawaii businesses grow and scale to global markets. Here on Oahu, we have a shop called House of Mana Up where you can find the products made by these entrepreneurs who participated in our program. If you are a Hawaiian Airlines Bank of Hawaii World Elite MasterCard holder, we have an exclusive perk for you when you shop with us at House of Mana Up. Earn 2 miles for every $1 you spend at houseofmanaup.com. I've been waiting for today's event all week. I'm here in Kunia on Oahu, and you can't tell yet, but we're actually on a 300-acre farm where Hawaiian sugarcane grows, and that's because today is all about Hawaiian agricole sugarcane. And so we're gonna be exploring the farm and shaking up some rummy cocktails. Hope you got your tasting sets on deck. So let's get right into it and let's meet today's maker, General Manager of Kō Hana Distillers and Master Mixologist, Kyle Reutner. Aloha, Kyle.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm
well, I guess
stoked to
I
have
should be
you
thankful
here.
I'm here. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd love to, I'm excited that we're going to be shaking up some cocktails. And I'd like to
Should we get it going?
We should probably get it going.
I think we can get it going.
Well, actually, can you just tell us a little bit more about where we are right now?
Of course, yeah.
Before we get the farm tour, and then I've been kind of itching to get
sorry,
some
me
cocktails,
too.
but I know. So where are we right now?
Calm down, Kyle. You don't have to have a drink yet. So we're in central Oahu in Old Kunia, or as people will call it, Kunia Camp. We're right next to the original general store for Del Monte on an amazing farm that has heirloom Hawaiian sugarcane.
And so I know Hawaii's been known for sugarcane, but a lot of those sugarcane varietals weren't actually native.
Yes, exactly. So when you think about sugarcane history, you usually start thinking about it as something introduced from the West during plantation era. Hawaiians brought ko, the Hawaiian word for sugarcane, about 800 years before that.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay. So
fantastic.
when we're outside, you guys have all the different varietals. Like the different varietals of sugarcane look so different from each other. There was like a pink or purple one outside.
No,
yeah?
there's all kinds of. I mean, you have dark purple cane, light green cane, every stripe and iteration in between. And what's great about not having this homogenized cane varietal just built for sugar is you end up with all these flavors as well. So we get to extract those flavors and really let it shine in our rums.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, during today's Pau Hana, you'll have the chance to enter to win an exclusive set from Kō Hana, including a camp cup, Kō Hana, they're right here, and a Kō Hana Provisions barrel-aged honey, and bag of their barrel-aged whole bean coffee. To enter, click the link and we'll post in the comment section or in the QR code on your screen, and we will announce the winner at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Okay, Kyle, so we're ready to take everyone a tour of the farm before we shake up our first cocktail.
All right, let's go on a journey with our brand manager, Tevis, through the farm.
It all begins on the farm. Something that is often overlooked about who we are here at Kō Hana is the fact that we are farmers before anything else. It takes an immense amount of work from incredibly hardworking individuals for us to do what we do. We grow every bit of ko, which is the Hawaiian word for sugarcane. We grow every bit that we need to produce every drop of rum. We grow 34 genetically diverse heirloom varietals of ko that the native Hawaiians brought here themselves by boat beginning a little over 1100 years ago. The Polynesians, who later became the native Hawaiians, they traversed through all of the Pacific Ocean with this sweet plant. Which brings to mind that it meant a lot more to them than just a sweetener. For the native Hawaiians, kō was used as a part of daily life. They would use the leaves for thatching and weaving. They used the dead leaves as weed mat in their fields. They use sugarcane for medicinal practices. It really is true. A teaspoon of sugar does help the medicine go down. They would use the fibers in the stalks as a means to brush their teeth, so they used it for hygienic purposes. They used sugarcane as a source of energy, that sugar rush you would feel. It helped them be more productive. And here at Kō Hana, we are making rum from the sugarcane, but we also like to think that we are participating in preserving and sharing the history of kō here in Hawaii. And we really hope that we're able to begin connecting people to a part of Hawaii that most are not familiar with. You know, we make our rum from the juice of sugarcane. And the reason that's important is because a vast majority, which is well over 95% of the world's rum, is made from molasses, which is, as many know, the industrial byproduct of making table sugar. For us, we're able to pay homage to these Hawaiian sugar canes that were brought by not processing them in any other way except into rum from the fresh juice that each stalk holds.
All right, that was incredible. I mean, the farm is so epic. I mean, I just can't believe where we are right now.
Most people don't get to visit farms. It's such a fantastic thing to be able to share with people.
And just to be able to drive over.
Indeed.
Like, it's on Oahu.
Yes.
So do you guys offer in-person farm tours, or what are the opportunities there?
Yeah, so we have both a distillery and sort of grounds tour, and we do 2 farm tours a week. So we welcome people to both sides of it, which is great.
So people were here right when we arrived earlier?
Yeah,
okay.
We like having people here. It's been a rough couple years, so it's nice to have humans in our space.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so Kyle, shall we dive finally into our first mixology demo?
With no further ado, shall we? All right, so we're going to playfully riff on an old classic, which is a daiquiri. Most people think a daiquiri is a blended red drink. It's not. It is simply sugar, lime, and great rum when done well. Now we're gonna up it up just a touch and throw in a little bit of pineapple juice and make it a touch more tropical. And frankly, for today, very refreshing. So fresh lime juice.
So was that 2 limes you squeezed?
Yeah, I did 2 limes, so about 1 lime for each of us. Then
Okay.
we're gonna have a half ounce of pineapple juice for each of us, as well as a half ounce of simple syrup for each of us.
So how did you get started?
As a company, we got started sort of wanting to get our hands in the dirt and really asking some smart questions. So Robert Dawson and Jason Brand, the co-founders, they were looking for something they could really dive deep into, which meant farming and then delivering upon that. Kō just happened to be one of those things that fell upon Robert's lap. Honestly, there's a Dr. Noah Lincoln, who back then was just Noah Lincoln, was pursuing his PhD at Stanford at the time, and taught us a lot about cane, and we fell in love and had to start making rum from Kō.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so that was how many years ago?
Oh goodness, yesterday was our 10-year anniversary.
Okay, and then was it always on this property here?
Yeah, so we've been farming in a few different places, and then functioning here, we've been working the last 8 years at rebuilding the old Kunia general store. So we've been here most of it. That said, we were in Waialua for a touch, and then we also have, diverse farm needs, so we have diverse farms.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned, I'll just pause while he shakes.
Sorry about that, a little loud.
Okay.
The rude mixologist
I
thing.
know. How dare you? I was trying to ask you a question. So, okay, you mentioned earlier about measurements around, like, I guess, conversion, like teaspoon or tablespoon.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about it. The truth about a daiquiri is this. You want 2 of whatever you're doing to be rum, 1 to be sugar, and 1 to be lime. So it's just a 2-1-1. So whether that's a bottle's worth or a thimbleful, it's just 2-1-1. And then you shake it up. If you add a little bit of pineapple in there, you also have the opportunity to add 1 more of that pine.
Oh,
Here's
wow.
a cocktail for you.
Thank you.
And in case you're following along at home and want to make the cocktail, I support you wholeheartedly. If you don't, next week we're releasing our pineapple daiquiri ready to drinks, crafted by us here, including myself.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. That is simply delicious.
You mad?
No, I'm not.
Not mad at all,
My
right?
world just totally just opened up, and I'm just a lot more
That's-
calm and positive.
Let's cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to all of you as well.
Yeah. So in terms of your journey,
Yeah.
coming to Kō Hana, I know you had been a bartender way early on in your days, and so can you share a little bit about your journey?
For sure. So I started out as a chemistry student at the University of Hawaii. I was pursuing my PhD. And like a lot of students, I was looking for some fun as well, so I started bartending, and I ended up in Chinatown in the very early days. So this is about 15 to 20 years ago. Let's go on the 15 side.
All right.
In Chinatown, and started getting into sort of like the mixology side of things. So finding great spirits, amazing mentors like Christian Self, Dave Newman, John Schwalbenetz, Chandra Lucariello. I just got to surround myself. And honestly, I just ended up riding this wave and getting to meet people that were doing great things. The co-founders of Kō Hana were 2 of those guys. I got a cold call. Hey, you're a pretty cool bartender. Let's talk story. And it's just never stopped since then.
And so your role is like as master mixologist, general manager, operations. I mean, you've got your hands in so many elements of the business.
I don't get to make very many drinks anymore, so this is really nice.
Okay, you're
Most of
welcome.
it's about helping other people to thrive and succeed. So this is a treat for me. But yeah, it's about farming correctly and responsibly. It's about distilling better rum than other people can make, and honestly being true to who we're supposed to be, which is a fresh sugarcane juice rum made from sugarcane that belongs on these islands. So it's a really phenomenal and frankly prideful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really important to around the quality of these products, and that Hawaii, that traditional kind of Hawaii cocktail was this sugary bomb.
Yeah.
And that creating agricole rum here based on ingredients that came over with the Hawaiians as a canoe plant.
Absolutely. So what's been great is we've been so interested in being true to the Kō, and that means not hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you start adding sugar or flavor or anything like that, you're in the way. I don't want to be in the way. I want to be helping push it along.
Yeah, no, that's super incredible. And this drink is ridiculous.
It's not bad, yeah.
I mean, it's got all the elements, the pineapple and the rum and a little bit of sweetness, but not over the top. And it's just, I could
Still
drink
got the
probably 4 of them.
acidic uplift that feels like something you could have before a dinner
Yeah.
or out before, a real big night out. Hopefully happens soon.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. All right, so just a reminder for everyone, we are still accepting entries for our giveaway of an exclusive Kō Hana set, which includes a bottle of barrel-aged honey, which is right here, absolutely gorgeous. And of course it has my name on it, Melly, because Melly means honey. Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome.
And it also includes a cup. Let's see, we've got the Camp Cup and a bag of barrel-aged whole bean coffee. Be sure to enter before it's too late. Click the link in the comment section and we'll announce the lucky winner at the end of today's event. All right. Well, this drink is just so good. I mean, thank goodness we got this going.
I'm so grateful. End of a long day.
All right, so we got to have a tour of the farm earlier to see where the rum journey starts. What's up next?
Now it's time to go into the distillery, and honestly, you're seeing the barrels around us, and you can see a little bit more of the science rather than the agricultural side of things. It's nice.
Kō Hana. It's 2 Hawaiian words. Ko is sugarcane, and Hana is work. So for us, the translation is the work of the cane. And really, that's our concept here in many, many ways. What we're doing here is guiding this sugarcane along to create what we feel is the best rum that we can make from it. And we also want to withhold the integrity of this sugarcane as much as we can throughout our process. We make a style of rum known as agricole. Agricole is a French word for agriculture. And essentially, this is our way of communicating to the world that we're making rum from the juice of the sugarcane. In our process, we do a closed tank fermentation, which is a lot different than how a lot of other spirits producers choose to ferment in the world. And then we distill that fermented sugarcane juice. And after we have this distillate, we'll basically determine what we create out of it. If we make white rum, we will rest that distillate for 3 months before completing and bottling. If we are making our cacao honey rum, we'll steep that rum for at least 30 days with those locally sourced cacao nibs before adding our honey. And then we'll go ahead and bottle that. And we can't forget to mention our barrel aging program. Allowing our rum to rest in these oak barrels is by far the most time-consuming part of any of our process. We barrel age for a minimum of 2 years. And we need this time to allow our rum to interact with the wood from each barrel. This interaction will allow our rum to extract color, flavor, and aromas from the wood that this barrel is made of. And most of our barrels are made of American white oak. But we also have specialty barrels in our rick house as well. You know, we have barrels made from Spanish oak used to age sherry wines in. We have barrels made of French oak used to age Pinot Noir wines in. We have barrels made of coal wood in our collection as well. So we're always interested in trying new elements to our process to see what types of results they will yield. And that also is a big part of who we are here at Kō Hana Distillers.
All right, that was amazing. That was really neat to just see that whole distilling process. I mean, I feel like I learned so much. But what is kind of the difference between the Kō Hana distilling process versus others?
I mean, so many people, and there's so much to know about distilling, so it's hard to nail down one thing. But the biggest difference between us and other folks that are out there making even great products is we don't do chemical analysis or any of these major things. It's all based on palate. So we're looking at every different cane varietal individually, and we're just judging it every day. So whether it's November or may make a difference in how we make our cuts at our distillery, or how we're deciding to use it in a different barrel or this or that. We're actually letting it be the living thing that it is, so embracing terroir.
Okay, so everything is adjusting based on what's happening outside.
You're seeing it every day. You're having to actually be present with what you're making. And I think as like a maker, that's an important thing, to actually be considering what you're doing every day instead of just going through the motions.
All right, super cool. So can you share with us a little bit of what's behind us here?
For sure, yeah. So like you saw on the farm tour a little bit, you saw a bunch of heirloom Hawaiian Kō. So what we have here are 2 of our heirloom varietals, and it's just really nice to be able to look at them and see, unlike the canes that you might have seen during the plantation era, you have some very vast differences, right? Like this is white, then red, then green, then you've got this really purple and like just gorgeous canes. And why we like to showcase them is on every single rum, you're going to see the individual cane varietal inside of it. So we really like to embrace each different one in our distilling process, like I was just talking about. So these two canes don't get treated the same way. It's like Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. You don't just throw them together willy-nilly. You make conscious decisions. And that's what we do with the cane.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's all, you know, terroir based, and then it's varietal based, so it's very similar to wine. I mean, coming out here, although you have to remember you're rum tasting, not wine tasting, so
Yeah,
just make sure you got it.
I mean, we keep it pretty mellow. We got 4 pours of a ½ ounce. We don't get crazy. That's for in town.
All right, cool. Well, let's get ready for our second cocktail.
Numero dos.
All right.
Perfect.
And what's it called?
So this is the KOA to HNL. This is that wonderful flight from the island of Hawaii over to Honolulu. It's a nod to our friends doing great things in coffee over there, most notably Big Island Coffee Roasters.
Yes.
Come on, the people that do it right. This is our cacao and honey liqueur. So you can imagine cacao and coffee mingle so well together. Coco Leca, our cacao and coffee liqueur. Good or great coffee if you have access to Big Island coffee. Just a little bit. This isn't one of those things you have to get too carried away. It's got a lot of space for more or less mas or menos. And then a little bit of heavy cream, shaken up a bit, and poured over the top. Think of this like Hawaii's answer to the Irish coffee.
All right, I can't wait to try it. So you mentioned Big Island Coffee Roasters, and they, you know, are Mana Up Cohort 2 company. Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh wow, so it's hot.
Yes.
Oh, it's a hot it's a hot drink.
I know, we're in a warm rick house, but, you know, got to do it the right way.
Wow, that's really smooth.
You mad about it? Nope.
No, definitely not mad about it.
All
I mean,
right.
I'm feeling a lot more energized too. I was relaxed, I'm energized and relaxed. So it's all just really good feelings going on
Taking
here.
you
Thank you.
on the ride. Yes.
So yeah, you mentioned Big Island Coffee Roasters. They were a Mana Up Cohort company.
Of course, because they're awesome.
And
That's what
they're
we do.
amazing. And you guys were a Mana Up Cohort 1, our inaugural cohort.
Yes, in the beginning.
Yeah. So, and then of course you are going to be participating in Showcase.
Absolutely, every year.
Yeah. So what are you doing for this year's Showcase, which is going to be on November 4th, 3:30 pre-show starts, and that's where Kyle's going to be doing something. So
Exactly. So I get to welcome you early on to what will be a night of all kind of fun, but we're going to join each other and mix up some cocktails before we get started because, well, that's what I do best, and that's all that they'll let me do because mid-show, you'll see more of this.
And you're also doing a collab in that, right? You're
We are.
collaborating
Who is-
with another, with
wait.
Pono Potions?
Oh my goodness, we are. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I lost my mind. So our friends at Pono Potions, their syrups with our rums end up being fantastic. You can use calamansi, you can use lime, you can use lemon. If you have Kō Hana and Pono Potions, especially the honey ginger one, mwah, it's fantastic.
All right, so we've got a ton of different Mana Up companies all doing collabs. I'm actually wearing a La Ha'ole dress from cohort, I think 3. So all Mana Up in the house.
Keeping it mana up. Yes.
All right, so what's next for Kō Hana Distillers?
Our goal coming up, I mean, other than releasing our ready to drink cocktails, which happens next week, our goal is to gain consistency and growth across our island. So instead of being a 10,000 case brand, we're looking to be majorly exportable and sharing what we think is one of the world's best rums all across the US and globe. So that's really the next goal, is take us from hand to hand like this and instead be, you know, waving at people on Zooms across the world saying,
So really
thanks for opening
being
the bottle.
able to share Hawaii with the
Exactly.
whole world.
I mean,
Yeah.
you open this up in a room in Colorado, it still smells like Kunia. That's what we want to share.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. All right. Well, mahalo, Kyle.
Thank you so
for
much.
your epic cocktails today and taking us through the tour of the farm and this experience. And obviously, I'm going to have to clearly finish these. And so now we're going to answer some questions from our viewers today.
Ooh, bring it on.
All right.
I like
So we've got some questions coming up. I'm going to pull them up on my phone here.
Awesome.
I'm sure we've got plenty of them. Oh, here we go. So we've got Super Squishy asked, would it ever be possible for non-imbibers, including a site visit, and during a site visit, to try the fresh cane juices from different varietals?
I love that question, and we literally started constructing a cane juice bar today. Literally building in the old Kunia post office a sugar cane juice bar. So it'll be the start of our tour. We used to greet people with a little bit of it, but yeah, now you can come by. It'll probably take us 2 to 3 weeks to get it operational, but yeah, you can come by and try Kea or Papa'a or Pili Mai, and we'll have a few different varietals to try every day. That's an amazing question, and the answer is absolutely yes. Come check that out. We're not discriminatory about non-drinkers. We love them too.
That's going to be awesome because, especially for the kids, although they'll be kind of high on sugar.
No, it's not that much sugar.
Oh,
it's
not,
perfect.
Okay.
They
perfect.
think it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Carmen from Washington comments. She's enjoyed seeing your place so much. She's visited 3 times and had 6 bottles waiting for her when she got home. So right on, Carmen. Keep that going.
Mahalo. Thanks for supporting us.
All right, so Robbie from Phoenix asks, how many barrels are in your barrel house?
Well, right now there are 146. We just pulled 4 for something, so I dropped below 150, which kind of broke my heart, but it means I get to share more. This room holds about 920, so that's our goal by the end of next year, is to have filled it up.
All right,
Soon.
That's amazing.
It's a lot of barrels.
I mean, this place is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got Carmen again from Washington. She's asking, I really enjoyed the King's Wing drink available at Mad Bene.
Yeah, Mad Bene out in
Kapolei.
Yeah.
Will you be making that as well today?
Ooh, I'm not,
I
because I don't. It's not my drink to share. It's their drink, so you have to kind of have to talk them into it. It's really cool though. It's got Lihing in it. It's a fun cocktail.
All right, I guess I gotta go check the place out.
If you haven't had their pizza, it's money.
It's nearby here?
Yeah, it's
in
Kapolei.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's awesome.
All right, so Super Squishy's asking a question here. In terms of trying to highlight the Kō itself, does Kō Hana feel the type of still makes a difference, column versus pot? Some whiskey makers favor pot stills. Is there truth to that? Wow,
So-
this person knows a lot.
No, there absolutely is truth to that. I'd say it's less about the apparatus and more about how you're using it. So how high you're distilling, how quickly you're trying to pump things through, whether you're doing continuous or batch distillation, are all really important things. So for us, we distill on a hybrid still, which is a pot still connected to a small column apparatus. It allows us a lot of leeway to move during the middle of a batch distillation, which is awesome. That's a great question. The answer is yes, the still matters. More importantly is, how do you use the apparatus?
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right, so Emma asks, seems the process takes so long. How do you decide what flavors are worth trying to create?
All right, this is another phenomenal question. There is so much that we owe to the people who helped us grow these different plants. To pretend that we know one will be better than another isn't what we do. So we're just going through stepwise, one by one by one, and towards the end of 34 varietals, we'll start making decisions as to where to go from there. So embracing the flavors, really we're still in trial and error and chasing down what we think is delicious, but we're still embracing new things all the time.
Wow, so 34 varietals. And
Yes.
how many have you kind of leaned into so
11.
far? 11.
So we're 11 of
Okay.
34, and I'd argue that 9 of those 11 are phenomenal, 2 are difficult, and so now we know 2 that maybe we're not going to go full tilt boogie into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you guys get all 34 of those varietals?
Mostly begging for cuttings from botanical gardens and aunties' backyards, and working with Noah Lincoln and with a few different scientists.
So many of these varietals are almost lost to the world.
Oh, I mean, there are still things that people say don't exist that we're hoping to find.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like a Easter egg hunt of sorts.
Small
or
kind.
Scavenger hunt.
A very important ethnobotanical
Yes.
Easter egg hunt.
All right. We got tons of questions coming in. Tracy asks, does darker rum get me drunker than clearer rum?
Ooh, the answer is no, because you need to pay attention to proof more so. What I would be more apt to say, if you're drinking what is labeled dark rum, the problem and why you probably feel like it gets you drunker, you have both a sugar thing happening and an alcohol thing, because dark rum usually means molasses or sugar back added. With our rums, you won't see any backfill with sugar and things like that. Our Kokoleka, which we consider a liqueur, has some honey in it, but not that like sugar pop that you get from dark rums.
So another question would be, the lighter rum gives you less of a hangover potentially?
You know, I am not a believer in that. It is one of those things where it's all about your consumption and what is going on with it.
Got it. All right,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have Anita asking, when trying to incorporate the honey into drinks, what's one of the best ways to do so?
It is to be patient, and the bar way of sort of cheating it is to cut with a little bit of water first. So almost every drink gets some amount of dilution either by shaking or by actually adding like simple syrup or something like that that has some amount of water in it. If you cut back your honey, the trick is 1 to 1, so 1 part honey to 1 part water. Get that incorporated, usually over just a touch of heat. It's easier to get it to get in there.
Okay.
That's the cheater code. That's the cheat code.
Okay, good
Yeah.
hint. Okay, Super Squishy's asking another question here. How expensive is a koa barrel used for aging? Can you describe the results of the aging process in Hawaiian wood? Were the barrels made in Hawaii?
Yes, so all of our koa barrels are made right here on the island of Oahu by Continental Craftsmen. There's a gentleman named Seth Gonzalez, phenomenal woodworker, worked really hard with us to make sure we could get these koa casks going. As far as the expense, it's a lot. And the flavors that come with that are, it's really, let's start with the color. You drink with your eyes first, right? It gets this big red pop. But I've never had a single barrel aged product that had praline in it. It's got this like almost like cooked down sugar thing happening. And this endemic acacia, which is what koa is, does that. It's got this completely different flavor that you cannot access with American oak.
Wow,
Yeah.
all right. Looking forward to seeing that. Okay, next question. Derek is asking, where can I find Kō Hana on the mainland? Good question.
Very good question. So you can find us in all of the Total Wines throughout California and a lot of other stores in California and a few select retailers in Florida and New York. We're growing and finding ourselves in more and more places. We can also ship to about 22 states with some partners that we have. So give our website a check if you're not in one of those places.
Okay. All right, Gita's asking, is that the milk sitting at the top of the Koa to Honolulu drink?
It's the cream, yeah. So that's the heavy cream shaken up and then floated over the top.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Derek is asking, how many gallons are in each barrel?
Depends on the barrel. Sherry butts will have somewhere around 63 gallons, but they do things in liters. American barrels tend to have 55, and then wine casks are 59. Our Koa casks are a little bit smaller than that, just over 30 gallons. So you have lots of different sizes. We only do full-size barrels with the exception of Koa because the proof in the pudding is in the eating, and it just tastes better. A little bit more room, oxygen time, 55 gallons is perfect.
Okay. All right, next Don is asking, what do you do with the old or worn out barrels?
That's a great question. That's how you end up with barrel-aged honey, barrel-aged coffee. It's how our local brewers get their awesome barrels. It's how we've shipped some to wineries, and then every now and then we'll sell one to a private citizen who is just a kind enough person and buys enough rum.
Okay, so Cynthia's asking, can we do a decaf variety of the coffee drink?
Ooh, absolutely. There's no reason not to embrace decaf with that. I would wholeheartedly jump into it. Okay. I don't know the best decaf, I'm not a decaf guy, so I don't know the best decaf coffees for it, but guaranteed it works.
Okay. All right, Eric is asking, are you using all native yeasts? Is each Kō variety distilled separately and rested in stainless until needed for blending?
Yes, so every cane varietal is distilled separately. Great question. We do single varietal. We're the only people in the world to do this. It's a really unique part. The yeast is not native, it is inoculated, and the reason is Kō Hana, the work of the sugarcane, Kō Hana, work. The work of the sugarcane doesn't mean the work of all of the different native yeasts. We use an inoculated yeast and the same one over and over to try to let the Kō be the difference in our rums. Great question.
All right. Okay, so we've got a second to last question. How old in years is your oldest rum? Which rum is it, and where was the cask sourced from?
Okay, so our eldest cask right now is 6.5 years old. It is a Chardonnay barrel from California, and it will probably never be released because I do not like the flavors in it, and we were young and learning things then. Our oldest thing that will get released to the public is about 5.5 years old. It's a Maker's Mark barrel, and that will be where we are. Maker's, it's appropriate.
Yes, I love it. Okay, last question. How often do you rotate co-crops?
Ooh, that's a difficult question because we're still learning a lot of it. We think it's at 5 years, but because we've had to move farms in that time, we're not 100% sure. So we're at the end of year 5 with a couple, and we're trying to see what happens to the sugar content. Remember, nobody's grown these these canes since there were kings here. So like, this is a really unique and new place to work within.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, Kyle. Those are, I mean, we had just tons of great questions.
Awesome questions.
I know,
Thanks for doing this. We're grateful showing this off. I'm thrilled.
Well, I'm grateful for the drinks as well, so
Yes.
thank you.
There's more after we shut it down.
All right, well, before we close today's Meet the Makers event, we're gonna announce the lucky winner of our giveaway. All right, so the winner of our giveaway is, all right, Kevin from Des Moines, Iowa. Congratulations. We'll contact you to redeem your prize. Congratulations. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, so mahalo everyone for tuning in today. It was such a treat transporting you all here to Kunia, and shout out to Kyle for showing us all around your guys' amazing farm and teaching us how to shake up these delicious cocktails with your Hawaiian rum.
You got it.
Next month, we're traveling to Honolulu here on Oahu, where we'll meet the friends behind Aloha Modern, who will share some of the most powerful and fascinating Hawaiian legends passed down and in from generation to generation. We can't wait. Please RSVP for this event. Head to our Meet the Makers page or scan the QR code below. For cardholders, be sure to keep an eye out for your monthly Hawaiian Miles statement for more exclusive perks. Also, be sure to register for our biggest event of the year, our 2021 Showcase. Be sure to tune in on Facebook Live or YouTube next Thursday, November 4th. 3:30 p.m. is the pre-show. 4 o'clock, the show will start, and you'll be learning all about new things in Hawaii from our rising entrepreneurs to up-and-coming musical talent. We hope to see you there. Aloha, until next time.
Cheers.